Canton Aluminum presents the Better Homes and Outdoor Living radio show. Your local home improvement specialist will offer tips, tricks, and trends to help you update, renovate, and renew your home. This is Karen Vrabeck, and I'm the host of the Canton Aluminum Better Homes and Outdoor Living radio show. Since 1952, Canton Aluminum has been serving the home improvement needs of countless Northeast Ohio and Stark County homeowners with services including 3- and 4-season sunrooms, vinyl siding, and replacement windows. This is Karen Vrabeck, and joining me today is Larry and Elaine Malavite. Mr. and Mrs. Malavite are customers of Canton Aluminum, and they're here to tell us about their project. Good morning.
Good morning.
You recently completed several projects with Canton Aluminum, and so maybe just tell us what types of home improvement projects were you initially interested in?
Well, initially, we always go through the fairs and whatever, and we look at all the home improvement areas, and we're kind of these run and then ghost-type people, get the information and leave. Well, unfortunately, this last time, Bruce, which was really your point man, caught us. And, my wife went in and grabbed the stuff, and before she could get out, he came over and said, "Can I help you?" And then that was it.
And you were at a home improvement show, the Stark County?
Actually, it was a Randolph Fair.
Oh, okay, terrific, great.
So we were up there, and so he started talking, and he said, so what were you looking for? Well, initially, we were looking for a sunroom, but we knew we needed windows and siding. So we're talking, and we told him finally the sunroom went to the siding, and then it went to the windows. And at one point, he said, "I assume it's got a roof, doesn't it?" And we said, "Yeah, it's got a roof." And when he realized what all we wanted, he said, "I think I need to let you talk to one of the owners," because he said they can probably do more for you than I can right now. So that's what he did. He hooked us up with Marty, and which was wow, I tell you, he is such a fun person to be around. He didn't even seem like it didn't seem like we were owners, and clients.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like it was family doing the job for us. He was so easy to talk to. He was just so easy to come out and get to know and sit with us and talk with us, and actually kind of wanted to get a feel for what we really wanted rather than just us tell him and he just said, "Okay, here's where we go." And in fact, when we were doing the siding, he brought like 3 books out.
Wow.
And he said, "So here's some of your choices. What would you like?" And we're looking and looking, and I said, "Well, let me tell you what I wanted to stay away from." I said, how you see some of these homes after about a year or 2 years, and you look down the side of the house and you see the siding that either goes up and down or in and out. I said, I want to get away from anything like that. So he closed 2 books, and he said, "Okay, here's the one we're in." Mm-hmm. He said, "What color do you want?" And we said, "You see the barn? We want to get as close to the barn as we can." And he actually got to the point where we were going to get siding with the insulation built into it.
Okay.
And then he looked at the house, and he had decided that was 12-foot lengths. And he thought if he got 16-foot lengths, that he could actually get rid of more seams for us.
Okay.
So he went and actually put the order in for the 16-foot lengths, which really was excellent choice.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just grateful for that. And then we were looking at the windows, and we were going to get double pane windows. And he had told us, he said he's got some programs and deals going on here. He said, "We might be able to get you a 3-pane window for the price of 2.
Okay, triple pane. Yeah.
Triple pane.
Yeah, sure.
And we said, "Sure." So he went ahead. He did that. That was really great. And then when we looked at the sunroom was going to be, we were going to try to do as inexpensive as we could. And initially we were going to use vinyl windows, which would have been great. But we noticed that with the vinyl windows that there would be swinging doors.
Okay.
And we realized that we just didn't have enough room with the little porch that we left on the deck. So we called him, and he said, "You need to come into our showroom." So we came into the showroom, and we told him what we wanted or didn't want. And he said, "Oh, that's going to cost you more money." We said, "That's okay." Mm-hmm. So we went ahead and actually got the sliding glass doors and windows, which I'm really glad we did that now.
That's great.
But let me just back up real quick on the sunroom.
Sure.
We were going to do the whole 10 by 16,
mm-hmm.
and as we were looking at it, he told Elaine, he said, "When you grill, you're going to have to go down the steps and back up with your little," and he said, "You probably wouldn't like that." And she said, "No." So he said, "Well, if we just left like a 4-foot section on the end," he said, "could you live with 10 by 12, which was the size of our dining room?" And we looked at each other and we thought, And we fit 8 people in the dining room. Surely we can fit, 2 people in a 10 by 12 room. So we went ahead and did that. It actually saved us, some money from not having the whole thing enclosed.
Okay.
And it was, really it looks better. It looks like it was designed as part of the house. And we really took a lot of input from him when he told us, well, this would look better, this wouldn't look as good, and he's absolutely right. He was absolutely right.
Tell us a little bit about your home. How old is it? How long have you lived there? What kind of describe to our listeners what your house looks like.
The house is a bi-level or a raised ranch. I'm not sure how you determine the difference between the two. The house was built, I believe, in '77, and we bought it in '87. And this is really the first improvements that we have done outside physically. It was an aluminum-sided house with the Anderson wood windows.
Okay.
And, of course, every time Elaine would clean windows, it would take 2 men and a crowbar to try to get those windows apart and clean them. And they had the removable storm windows on the outside, so you had to remove the storm windows. It was just really, really very difficult to do this. And with these new double-hung windows, she just a couple buttons in, a couple swipes, and she's back up.
I notice you're saying she a lot. You don't help with the windows, Larry?
No, she's the window person. I can never quite get the windows good enough. So
she's in the back here cheering.
Oh, yeah. If I do the windows, she redoes them again. So it's just easier if she does them right the first time.
She does them the first time. I got that. So you were initially looking for the sunroom, but knew you at some point needed to replace the siding and windows.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And the other concern I had, knowing that we were going to do a sunroom and siding, I didn't want one contractor to come and build a sunroom, and then the siding would have to be built around the sunroom, and I didn't want a contractor to do the converse, do the siding, and now we have to maybe take stuff apart to put the sunroom in. I just didn't know how we were going to do that. And actually, when we talked to Canton Aluminum, when we talked to Marty, it was a done deal. It was that answered all those questions. I knew that it was all going to be blended together the proper way.
For a cohesive look to your home
Yes.
and one person start to finish. Yeah. So did you interview a lot of folks when you were looking to have all this work done at your home?
No, actually, Marty was the only person. When he came in, and we started talking, we kind of looked at each other and we thought, you know what, this is a done deal. We're just not. There was no need to go anyplace else. And he did give us, we felt, a very good price, and we have no complaints. Never. It's funny. People will say, well, how much were the windows? Well, we don't know. Well, how much was the siding? Well, we don't know. How much was the sunroom? Well, we don't know. And they're kind of thinking like, well, you didn't do everything right. You should have got all these bids and quotes. And we said, Marty came in. We trusted him. And in the end, he actually was better than good for his word. He gave us a price that we thought was fair. We didn't worry about anything else, and I said the rest is history.
So the entire project is what you're saying rather than the pieces part. So that's why you can't tell folks, well, this cost this much and that.
Yeah, and to this day, we still don't know. And we never asked him to even break it out. He said, okay, here's the price. What do you think? And we thought, hey, this is great.
What else, besides the salesperson or the owner, Marty, what else about Canton Aluminum made you feel comfortable about using them for your home improvements?
Well, as we talked to him, he was telling us first off, they were a locally owned company, and we like to do stuff with people in the county, local business. We think it's good to keep the economy going. He had also told us that a lot of the people, he handpicks the people, he and his brother, Jerry, and a lot of them are related to each other. And a lot of the people are, the only way they
And you're talking about the installers.
The installers,
okay.
Yes. They get recommended by people that they know. They just don't hire anybody. And I got to tell you, as these people were doing the sunroom, Matt, which was doing the sunroom, and I apologize for not remembering the team of people that did the windows, because they were both working together. They were joking and teasing with each other. Really having a good time, and it was nice to see that interaction between the two. And really, when you get each one aside, they both complimented each other's teams and were saying what a good job they did. And usually you don't see that kind of fellowshipping and people supporting each other like that. And that really said a lot. That really said a lot. And these people were so honest. They were telling us what they were doing and why they were doing it that way
Nice.
versus some other way, and kind of given me some of the technical end, although they have forgotten more than I'll ever know about what they're doing.
Right.
But it was still nice to hear some of that background. They were willing to take the time and explain it to us.
Right.
And Kevin, I love Kevin. He is so great. I mean, he and his son were out there doing the siding. It had to be, it was end of November and December. And that year the snow came early, and it was so bitterly cold out there. We actually went to Kevin and we said, look, we feel so terrible, you hanging up on these ladders, cutting the stuff and trying to, put the stuff in it. I said, if you want to come back in the spring, get to a point, close it down, come back in the spring. He said, no. He said, once we start a job, we want to finish it. He said, no matter how long it takes. And I mean, I really appreciated what he did. Not doing that stuff, if I would have been doing that, I'll tell you, that house would have looked, I don't know what it would, it'd have been terrible. I mean, terrible.
Your siding that you chose, did you choose it based on? And you said you didn't want to see that. They call it the friendly siding because it waves at you. No, it's a joke. Yes. So you were looking for something a higher quality siding. What else interests you? And when you were looking for the exterior materials for your home,
I think we wanted it to look as close to like a wood type texture, which this siding had. The aluminum siding we had before was no texture. It was just a plain, painted type aluminum siding. So this actually gave it some texture and actually gave it a couple extra, I'm going to call it creases or folds in it. And when we talked to Kevin, he said that's good. He said every crease or fold actually strengthens the product on there. So he said this is good the way it's set up.
And that's the lap of the siding.
Oh, the lap is that? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
That's a great way to explain it, right? I mean, for people that are listening, they can kind of see the crease and folds. They know exactly what you're talking about.
What I'm talking about. And when we talked to Kevin, he built his own home, which actually made me even feel better because here's a guy that knows the ins and outs. He did the rough structure, the interior work. He did the whole thing, and he said that the siding that we got was really pretty much top of the line. It was what he wanted when he was building his home. Unfortunate for him, he said they didn't have the color he wanted. Okay. So to get the color, he had to do one grade less, but he said the grade less was still very good. We didn't realize what we got was the top of the line. I mean, again, this was all, Marty took care of it. I mean, he knew what we were looking for, and he took care of, he took the rough ground and just smoothed it out for us, so we didn't have to worry about a lot.
And you said you did not go with the siding that had the insulation in the back. So did they go over the insulation that was already in your home, or how did that work?
Yeah, they actually, to compensate for that, they actually put, I don't know if it was an 1/8 or 3/8 inch insulation that was what I call like fan fold, because it had plastic and it would open up to maybe 4 or 5 or 6 foot sheet long.
Okay.
And they had to put that over top of everything that we had. And it was kind of funny. Once they pulled everything away, they found out that the insulation that we had was a 2 or 3 inch foam insulation. And they said if they would have known that, they said we probably wouldn't need the other insulation they put on. But this was great. It just insulated the house even more. I mean, speaking of that, it has really made a big difference.
I was going to ask you that. Can you tell the difference from the new siding and the insulation?
Oh, yeah. This past summer when it was warm, and even the summer before, I kind of would look at or time the air conditioner, see what's a heat pump, see how long the heat pump would run.
Sure.
And this year was a better year because we had problems with the heat pump before. It was leaking a little Freon, and we got that corrected. So this was the first year that everything was working right, and that heat pump would only run like 7 minutes to cool the house down.
Wow.
And pretty amazing. And even in the wintertime, when we switch over just to the actual heating elements, it runs maybe 10 to 12 minutes and holds the heat a long time. These days when we get 40-degree weather, we have the house set about 68 degrees. It runs maybe every 50 or 60 minutes. I mean, it's just amazing how long it holds the heat. And it's reduced our heating bill. I don't know, Elaine, what do you think? 10, 20%?
We're an all-electric home.
Yeah, we're an all-electric home,
Okay.
so that there isn't any gas, so that makes a difference. What was our electric bill
So Elaine's telling us that their billing has increased.
Yeah.
She's a little microphone shy, so she's sitting in the corner here, but she's shaking her head and agreeing with most of the things that Larry is saying.
I'm thinking we went from roughly 160. We were on a budget, $165 a month. We're down, I think, around $100 or $108.
Wow.
So
wow.
That was a considerable savings.
Well, and especially since you did the whole project. So you take your siding, and then tell me a little bit about your windows. You said they're easier to clean. What are there some other benefits of the new windows?
I don't quite understand the technology, but according to what the young men that installed it, because of the 3 panes, they said that in the summertime when the sun, actually our sunroom's on the south, which is actually perfect for that. That when the sun's higher in the summertime, the way the one pane is coated, it actually will reflect the sun's rays away from the interior of the house. And in the wintertime, when the sun is lower in the horizon, the way the panes are set up, it will let the sun's rays come into the house, so actually help with the heating and cooling type thing. And that's about all I know. And they're tinted, so it looks like they always look dark all the time. But I like that. I like that tint. You can never tell from the inside that they're tinted, only from the outside when you look at.
That's great.
I like that.
Yeah, and that probably helps cut down on some of the glare as well, and some of the heat reflection.
Oh, well, you know that sunroom in the wintertime, it generates enough heat. Maybe the true outside temperature would be in the 20s or the 30s, but if there's no clouds and the sun's hitting that sunroom, it'll get to 60, 70 degrees now.
Wow.
We've actually opened up the inside door to the dining room and just let the heat from the sunroom come on in and help warm up some of the house.
Yeah, that's great. Now, your other windows, were they older crank style?
No, they were. I don't know how to explain them other than when you would go to take them out, or they were slide up and down to open them. But to take them out, you actually had to grab the top and the bottom and either horizontally push it to the right or to the left.
Okay.
It was a kind of a spring-loaded system on the vertical tracks, and then you would push them until you turn blue in the face, and then you jerk them out and hope you got them out in the right way.
Okay. And now they just tilt in,
now they just slide up and down and they tilt in.
And do you notice like less did you have condensation on your other windows, or are these like not cool or warm to the touch anymore? Or
what do you?
Elaine's shaking her head. Yes. And you have quite a few windows in your home, right? 13 windows. Okay.
Yeah, we replaced the ones in the garage, too. I was always giving the windows the smell test, the nose sensitivity to see if there were any air leaks.
Okay.
And I'd get real close, and I would tell Elaine, I think I can feel some air coming here. She said, Larry, there's no air coming in. Well, then I finally figured out the air that I could feel coming out was me exhaling.
That's terrific.
And it was the air.
Well, I bet that was a sight to see.
Yeah.
Larry sniffing the windows again, Elaine. That's great.
There were times if the wind was really strong, we're talking 50, 60, you could actually see the curtains just kind of
give a little breeze, huh?
A little breeze, yeah. Just kind of say, hello, I'm here.
I was, I think a couple weeks ago on the show, I actually used your, when Jerry and I, when Marty and I were talking about sunrooms, I'd used your home as an example because I'd never thought about putting a sunroom on a raised deck or porch. And so did you think that was a possibility before had you seen that before? Or were you just hoping that was something that could be accomplished with the system? We had talked about too the little deck area that was left for your grill, and what a great idea that was, because you would have to walk up quite a few steps down and up if you were going to grill, and what a terrific idea that was.
And our other concern was having a deck that looked like it was an afterthought, as we would say, like a wart on your nose or whatever. You think it didn't need to be there, and with Marty's suggestion, having that little 4-foot extension there really made it look more complete. Looked like it was actually part of the original architecture's design versus an afterthought. And
you had different doors that opened up into your patio enclosure before, correct?
Yes. We had French doors that would have opened up into it. And when we did this, we thought rather than get doors that would open up, which would take away some of our space, we just go into a sliding glass door, which or a sliding patio door, I guess. And actually, Marty worked really hard trying to match the color of this wood frame for the sliding doors with the wood frame. And I'll tell you what, he came in and he looked at it. He said, I really did a good job. I said, yes, you did a darn good job.
He matched it pretty well, huh?
I mean, you can't tell from my standpoint. It looks like it's one of the same. I couldn't tell. I was surprised that you were able to get a vinyl clad covering that could match that well.
Oh, yeah. And technically your room is a 3-season room, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And that's due to the type of windows that you decided on?
That, and I think the flooring, we didn't go with to make it a 4-season, we would have had to gone with a thicker siding, and then the floor would have been, I think what Marty had showed me would be like styrofoam and then plywood on either side of it, glued and sealed together.
To give the floor some more insulation.
To do that.
But you don't find that to be a problem because of the angle you were saying. The way the winter sun comes in really keeps that space still warm enough that you're technically using it 4 seasons.
Yes. Yeah. Well, there's times we go out there in the morning with some fruit and some tea and just sit out there and look at the snow, and we're thinking, wow, how lucky are we to be able to be in this room like this and enjoy to actually be outside but still stay warm without having coats or parkas on.
Right, exactly. And you don't bring a space heater out there or anything.
No, we had thought about it, but we haven't
had the need to.
Haven't needed to do that.
And what type of windows do you have on your patio enclosure?
They're a glass window, and they open or slide vertically.
Okay.
I'm sorry, they slide horizontally.
Horizontally, okay.
Right, and they overlap, with screens on the outside. So it's really, they're not. I don't think they're a double pane. I think they're a single pane.
But they get a nice airflow then in the summertime
yes.
and nice breeze out there.
Oh yeah, I got to tell you a quick story about the screens. We had, in every project, there's always some little things here and there. It's it's never something that it's cosmetic. Usually, nothing structurally. And so we're looking out there one day, and we noticed just some little holes in the screen, not much. And Marty had told us, he said, you go through, look at everything. If you see anything, he said, make a list, give it to us, we'll take care of it. So we saw some of the screens, or maybe 3 screens or so. And so we called in and we gave them the list and told them, what was wrong. And they said, okay, we'll take care of it. So we're out there sitting in the deck, and what is it, Elaine, 2 months, 3 months later, we're looking and we're thinking, where are those holes at? We're thinking, are these self-healing screens? Or what? And so we're looking, and we can't find the holes there. And there were 2 other screens from the sliding windows. Those were gone. We couldn't figure out what was going on. So and we were waiting for a phone call to see when they were going to come out and do it. So we called, and we got a hold of Marty. Marty said, "Oh, we took care of that about 2 or 3 days after you." I said, how dumb are we? I said, we didn't think any more about it after we called him.
Right.
And then when we finally, 3 months later, decided to just kind of look at some of the stuff, I thought, maybe I should give Marty a call again. It was already done. We call him like the Phantom Craftsman,
Phantom Craftsman, that's great. And obviously you're very pleased with the work that has been done, and I know that you have referred other folks to Canton Aluminum. Is there anything you would have done different, or is the project kind of beyond what you had imagined?
This has exceeded our expectations. Let me give a quick, Jim Fletcher, which did the gutters and the downspouting. We had got a hold of him actually through you when you came out and kind of did a follow-up with everything and how we liked it. I talked about redoing the spouting, and you passed the information on to Marty. Marty got a hold of him, and he called me, which was really great the way it worked out. And I told him what I wanted, and he said, yeah, he can do that. So he went ahead and did the rerouting of the spouting, and I mean, it was better than what I could have imagined. And another one of these Phantom Craftsmen, I mean, he said he'll get it in a couple days, and I mean, the couple days, I'm thinking a couple days, maybe a week. I mean, because I know that they got schedules, there's commitments for months in advance that they've scheduled people, and it's pretty hard just to take somebody that, oh yeah, by the way, could you do this, and then bump them up and do it. I don't know how long he took it. We don't even know what day he did it, but we were out there cleaning the yard, and Elaine said, hey, Larry, look at this. The spouting's been already put in and rerouted. And I thought, I'll be darned. Son of a gun. I mean,
they slipped in again.
They in and out. I mean, and really it was just, and he took the spouting that he put in and matched it to the original house spouting. I mean, the project looks, it just looks complete. If I would have done something like that, it would have never looked as good as he did, and it had been obvious the spoutings would not have matched at all. So
I know that's a lot of compliment that you get, is that it looks like everything was part of the home from the beginning.
Yes.
I mean, including the patio, the enclosure on your deck. And I mean, that's really exciting for homeowners, because I think that's some of the worry that folks have is, are you going to be able to tell I put this on afterwards?
Oh, yes. Well, when I know this probably isn't normal, but during the deck and the window thing, we actually had a little pizza party for the people there, and brought in pop, and everybody took a moment when things were at a point where everybody could take that time, and I mean, really had a good time. Unfortunately for Kevin and his son, this was in the dead of winter, so we actually got them some gift certificates to kind of make up for.
That's great.
For the lack of the
You
pizza
appreciated
party.
them so much, and they became part of your family for that time period, didn't they?
I mean, I like I said, I just love the Kevin. I mean, Kevin just the things he said to me and told me and helped, the way he does stuff versus maybe somebody else. I mean, I really appreciated the information he gave me, because it was very, very helpful and very good. And a lot of the background stuff, the guy reminds me of me.
So it gave you a little insight into his craftsmanship.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Well, terrific.
We actually found out that our one cousin, Adam, was doing a lot of the groundwork, the cutting work for Matt on the deck. And we didn't realize that till he came up, and we would only see him now and then. And Elena and I are saying, boy, he looks familiar. Where do we
Where
know
do we know him from?
How do we know him? And so he's a cousin by marriage. And then it finally hit us,
That's great. So is your only regret that you didn't do it sooner?
Yes. Yes,
we
yes.
hear that a lot.
And we blame Bruce for that. He should have caught us sooner.
Should have let you run away so many times at those
that's
home
right.
shows.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's been terrific having you and having you tell us about your project. And for those that are listening, if you have any questions about our show or anything you'd like us to answer, you can call us at 330-456-0021. You can always click on our website at cantonaluminum.com. You can visit our showroom, as Larry and Elaine did at one point in their project, at 1330 East Tuscarora Street in downtown Canton. Or we also have a display in the Hartville Marketplace. You can always email us at questions@cantonaluminum.com. Thank you again for joining us on the Canton Aluminum Presents the Better Homes and Outdoor Living radio show. And join us next Saturday at 8 a.m. for more tricks, tips, and trends to help you update, renovate, and renew your home.